Hey y'all! Hi! It's Wednesday. It's Black History Month. So happy Warrior Black History Month Wednesday. Welcome to Warrior Wednesdays. Hi y'all! Oh, I see you coming in. Hello everybody. Nichelle Poston from Her Normal is here. How you doing? Mystique Makeup, I see you. The Princess Warrior all the way from the UK is in the building. Mama Stu is in the building. Hi, Mommy. Mommy's in Philadelphia, you guys. So send her some extra snowflakes if you guys have the snowflakes emojis because they are snowed in, chill. So, hey, Mystique Makeup, Niecy's World Forever. How you doing? You guys, let me know where you're joining from. Happy Warrior Wednesday. I'm so glad that you guys are here. I am going to get right to it. I don't want to waste any time today. So we have Ebony Ford coming on, who I'm going to tell you about. However, we do have a little bit of a surprise. Someone wants to come and say hi first because Ebony Ford has been an inspiration to this new mama. Her name, well, you know what? No, I'm not going to tell you her name. I'm going to tell you what you know her from. You know her from Lethal Weapon, the television show, Always a Bridesmaid, Chirac, and child, right now, she is on First Wives Club, the BET show, so it is coming on. She's going to be on the next season. She's a series regular, and she has something that she wants to say on Warrior Wednesdays. I'm so excited. We only have her for a second. Because, child, she on set, but she a warrior on set, and she's going to come and say hi. There she is.
Hi.
Michelle Michener, everybody. Michelle Michener, new mama. Hi.
Hi, how are you? What's going on, Kelly?
Hi, friend. You guys,
What's
welcome
going
to
on?
Warrior Wednesdays. This is Michelle Michener, actress, dancer, extraordinary woman, and a new mom to little Noir.
Yes.
How are you?
Yes. I'm doing very well. I'm cold because we're outside today. So we're in a little holding area. You know how it is. You know,
I do know how. I know that. Where are you guys shooting First Wives Club?
We're in Atlanta.
You're in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
And you are, so everybody that's joining for the first time, this is Warrior Wednesdays. It is a women's health and fertility live that we do every Wednesday to talk about our health and our fertility and all of the wonderful women that are bringing life into this world. And you just brought life into this world with Baby Noir.
Yeah, I did.
How do you feel, new mommy?
I feel honored.
Honored.
I feel very honored. It wasn't in our, it wasn't in my plan. I'm not gonna go too into my story because yeah.
I feel like we're gonna have you do a live, right, of your own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I gonna be on Warrior Wednesday?
Warrior Wednesday, for real, because you have you guys, Michelle has an actual story to tell of things that happened that you didn't expect to happen. And they did. And so you have this new beautiful daughter, but in your pregnancy journey, you were introduced to our guest today. So can you tell us a little bit?
Yes, I will. So I'm trying to make it so we can save it for when I actually come on. But I was chilling in my pregnancy, just chilling, very uneventful. And then it got really eventful real quick. I found out just randomly I had an incompetent cervix. My body felt fine, had no idea. It was like I was at an appointment a little past halfway in my pregnancy, and he was like, yeah. So,
incompetent cervix. Did you have any kind of symptoms of that? Or was this something that was found out in an actual appointment and they told you?
It was in the appointment. Noir was, everything was great and perfect with her. And they were like, you're dilating right now. Like, you need to go to the hospital right now. And we were like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Like, I'm chilling. Like, what's happening?
You're like,
and I was like, huh? And I had to get a cerclage. And then, with the cerclage, there's risks to that. Yeah. And one of the risks is that they can rupture your amniotic sac. And what happened? It happened to me. Yeah, it happened to me. And so that led me to be in the hospital for a little over a month. And
Wow.
as I was in the hospital, this is how I found Miss Ebony Ford. One of my line sisters was like, hey, there's this woman who has this blog. You should check it out. Because at this point, they were telling me, like, you know, your daughter is probably going to be premature. And so, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. And so as I was just sitting in the hospital during the pandemic, while everyone was in the streets of Hollywood protesting, I was in the hospital.
You were in the hospital.
And I was like, all right, let me check out this blog. And I started reading it, and I was just blown away, Calais. Blown away by this woman's story and just how she was able to overcome. I mean, I don't want to tell her own story for her. I would just say I was blown away by her story. And I felt a bit of like, okay, if Noir comes early, you know what? I'll be okay. It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. But whenever she comes, whenever God said it's time for her to come, I'll be okay. And Ebony, I don't know if she's already in here, but I've never even talked to Ebony before.
But you know what? Okay, so
I just started following her and her story.
But that is what is so amazing, because we often suffer in silence, or we often go through things on our own, which is why we do Warrior Wednesday, so that we can have these conversations for women that are on the journey. But what's beautiful about what you're saying is that you've never actually talked to Ebony, but yet all of her spirit was part of the thing that got you to the other side of knowing that you were going to be okay. And what y'all don't know here on Warrior Wednesday, I saw Patrice Covington is in the room, and I think that she waved hello.
Yeah, she's a prayer warrior for me.
Yeah, honey. We love her. We love her. But one of the things is that, you guys, so I know Michelle, I've spoken to Ebony now, but Michelle reached out to me and linked myself and Ebony together for Warrior Wednesdays, because you have been watching Warrior Wednesdays. And you guys, I just want you to know that this sister right here, with this mother of Noir, has been sending me prayers, letting me know, sis, it's going to happen one day. Our babies are going to have play dates one day.
Yeah.
I get emotional. You know how I do. And keeping me going. And then on top of that, said there's this woman that you really need to talk to, because her journey inspired mine. So today's episode really is happening because of you and you paying it forward. So the way that Ebony paid it forward in her blog, you paid it forward here so that everybody on Warrior Wednesdays can watch. And I just want to honor you and give you your flowers today and say thank you for being a strong new mom with an incompetent cervix, that you figured it all out, bringing baby Noir. And I've seen her, y'all. The baby is gorgeous today, just like her mama.
She is. Thank
you.
For
just supporting us and taking time off, this moment on your set to make sure you came in to say hi.
Absolutely. And I want to say something to you as well. I will say, in my particular situation, like I said, it was incompetent cervix. It wasn't necessarily fertility. However, what I will say is, because I saw that you were like freezing your eggs and stuff, and I don't know, just a couple of years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago. And I knew that for me, I wanted to wait to have children. I knew that was just going to be, well, I thought I was going to wait to have children.
You thought.
And then I couldn't do math correctly, clearly, and I was ovulating. And but anyways, I still went to a fertility clinic, even though I was young. I wasn't even 30 yet, because I saw that you froze your eggs. And I was like, you know what? I don't even know anything about my fertility. And I went, and they were like, girl, don't ever come. They told me, they were like, you shouldn't even be here. They were like, please don't come back. Like, you're fine. And I was like, wow, man, but why shouldn't a young woman want to come and check out the state of her fertility? So I just want to honor you for even just doing what you're doing, because you don't have to have all of the things going on to just have the information. And the fact that they're almost turning people away and looking at you like, well, why are you here? There's something that, insurance doesn't want to pay for if you don't already have the symptom and the issues. But it's like, I'm a young woman who wants to have children one day. Why can't I just know what's going on with my eggs?
That part.
Even if it is perfectly fine. I just wanted to just thank you for just sharing your story, because that made me more inclined to just just check and see what's going on.
Just check and see.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad that you
Yeah.
said that, because
Yeah.
what Michelle's talking about, you guys, is, well, what I got was a fertility diagnostic test. So it's a blood test that gives you your AMH and your FSH levels, your follicles and all that, and a ultrasound to let you know about your ovarian reserve. So there are tests that women can get an understanding of how many eggs they have left, but they don't tell us that in our annual gynecological exam. They don't always cover that. But I want to give it up to you for being proactive, for even going in there to find out what's going on. So listen, you are being an actress on set with all them people. Okay. So we want to say congratulations to you. We throw you your flowers, Mama. I cannot wait until you give us your story on Warrior Wednesdays. And so why don't you just say introducing Ebony Ford?
Yes, yes. Oh wait, oh my gosh, my doula is on here. So shout out to Brandy Stair. I just saw her talking. So hey doula, I love you.
Hi doula.
Brandy. That would be an incredible woman too, because she had, oh my God. I'll send her your information. I'll send you her information.
I know how you do. Michelle Mitchell will be in your DM giving you your life. I know how you do, sis. Yes.
But without further ado, who we all came here to listen to and be inspired by, you all, it is my honor to introduce Ebony Ford, also known as @SheShallReign on Instagram. I believe her blog is under the same name as well. Support her. She is a March of Dimes ambassador as well. She's currently raising funds for other preemies in the NICU, and she's just a strong advocate for preemies and being a preemie mom. So if you know a friend that has a preemie, about to have a preemie, whatever the case, just follow her, connect them with her, and enjoy this time that you're going to have with her, because it's really going to be incredible. And I'm going to try to listen on my AirPods.
Amen. It's going to be magical. Thank you, friend. Thank you for coming on to introduce Ebony, and we'll see you soon. We love you.
Yes, I love you too.
All right, kiss the baby for me. Bye, baby.
Will. Later.
All right, honey. Go slay that lens too. Slay that lens.
You already know.
I know, baby. Oh, so surprise. So Miss Michelle Mishner came in to introduce her inspiration. And like I said, Michelle introduced Ebony Ford to me. So she has given you the introduction, a March of Dimes ambassador, a mom to baby Rain Victoria. Baby Rain Victoria was born 1 pound, 15 ounces, you guys. And that baby is now 2 years old, running in these streets at home because it's COVID, but running in these streets. So if she can survive, you can survive. So without any further ado, we thank you again, Michelle. We love you. I'm going to bring on the lady of the hour here, and she shall reign. Ebony Ford, y'all, I need flowers. I need all of the flowers to come in here because this is a gift. Ah! Hi! Ebony, how are you?
I am great. How are you? Can you see me okay? Am I good?
You okay? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
You okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Y'all give her flowers. Let her welcome you today. And I appreciate you being here and being prepared to tell us your story. So I'm just going to go ahead, and there's Miss Michelle Polston, her normal, saying hello. Someone is saying I was a preemie as well, and 1 pound, 0 ounce. Everyone's giving you flowers and hearts, so I hope that you feel the love, Miss Ebony Ford.
All right.
Good, good. Well, let's just start at the beginning. I know the stuff. They don't know the stuff. Mm-hmm. But being a mom, was it something that you always wanted to do?
I knew I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to be a mom more than I wanted to be an astronaut or nurse, all those things we want to be when we're a little girl. Mom was number one. And I wanted to be a mom because I wanted to give someone the answers I didn't have. I was an only child. So I looked forward to having a child and hopefully giving her siblings, which we're still trying to work out with God, and just giving her the life that I wanted. Her the life that I wanted, that I desired, a full life, a life where she didn't have to worry about stress and bills, and I just wanted my child to be able to grow up and nobody need counseling because of her.
Got you.
That way.
Now nobody needs the therapy because of her, because we all go through our childhood wounds and our childhood traumas, and so part of probably, it sounds like you're healing was to be a mom yourself, to be able to present a life to a young person that maybe, you know, you wanted to experience along with her. So how old were you when you started to try to conceive?
So my husband and I were engaged. My 25th birthday, as a matter of fact.
Hey. And your husband is a gospel singer, correct?
He is. He's
actually a gospel singer.
Comments down there flirting with me a little bit. Ryan Vincent Ford. He's down there in the comments.
Right, Ryan Vincent Ford. We see you flirting. Y'all follow And She Shall Reign and Ryan Vincent Ford. He's flirting with his wife on the live. Yeah, so we love that. And I just wanted to bring that out. He's smiling and laughing. What up, Dad? So I wanted to bring that out because, you know, we do faith in here too. We talk about faith all the time. So he's a man of faith. You're a woman of faith. So at your 25th birthday, or you were 25 years old when he proposed?
I was 25. He proposed, and we got married 10 months later. So I'm still 25. And we knew off the bat, like, it wasn't even a question that we wanted to start our family. And it happened a little sooner than we planned for.
Okay.
Like honeymoonish.
Ooh.
So we got pregnant right away. And we were super excited. We're young. You know, we were already best friends, but now here we are married. And everything was seemingly great. I wasn't aware of any major reproductive issues. Everything seemed to be going fine. And then, unfortunately, that pregnancy ended in a 32-week stillborn. 1 week before the baby shower.
First of all, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss. You guys give her some prayer hands. That's super hard. And tell me correct me if I'm wrong, but because I followed you and listened to your story, I believe your angel baby is named Selah. Is that correct?
That's correct. You have done your homework, sis.
But wait a second. No, I want you to know how God moves. And I want all you guys to know how God moves. So when I post on Tuesdays who's going to be on Warrior Wednesday, and then I put something in the story, when it's in the story, I usually add music. And I added on your picture a song by India Irie. And I think it's Be Grateful or I Thank You. It's something like, I don't even know the title. But on it, she's singing Selah. And when y'all, it's probably still on the story, y'all. She's singing Selah. And I did not know your angel baby's name until late last night in my research. And I went, wait a minute. That's her name is being sung for today's live. So I want you to know she's here.
Yeah, I feel the energy all the time when Rain is like doing the most, and I'm like, you're getting all this extra energy from somewhere. I think you have a heavenly sister giving you a whole lot of pushes.
Oh yeah,
to be great.
I love that. I just love that. I just wanted you to know that. So we have our angel baby Selah. How was that experience for you and for your husband going through that grief?
We were still very resilient. Incredibly so. I look back now and I really don't know how we pushed through that the way that we did. We were still very hopeful, obviously broken, but hopeful. You know, we had a circle around us who was very confident, who say the things that I now find offensive, but at the time I knew they didn't know any better. Oh, you guys are young. You have time. You can have another baby. You know those comments. You can have another baby. And, you know, we were like, yeah, we can. But we're not going to rush it. And we didn't need to rush it because a few months later, boom, pregnant again.
So a few months later, Selah's in heaven looking down, and then boom, baby number 2 in the belly. So how did you find out that baby number 2 had happened?
Typical sick symptoms, nothing too crazy. And actually, I was still I was torn between like, I don't know if I can do this, and oh God, I want another baby. Like that duality can exist. And also, you know, anticipation or excitement. So, you know, we found out and we were okay, you know, felt like we were getting back, you know, what we had lost. We kind of saw it from that viewpoint. And then that pregnancy ended at 14 weeks. And we were just sitting there looking at each other like, am I being punked?
Ooh. Ooh.
What's wrong? And we began to internalize, I will speak for me. I began to internalize the whole I'm broken narrative. I started to wonder if there was a curse, if there was some sort of something blocking, you know, life coming into the earth. But I quickly snapped back to myself and remembered that nobody, there's a verse that talks about, you know, those who are chosen, nobody can be plucked out of God's hand, basically. No one can pluck out of God's hand. And that kind of came back to me like, no, what's for me is for me. It's for me. So if this is what's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. But I need to go back and pray and find out, is this supposed to happen? Now I'm questioning everything. And
you know, I don't mean to cut you off, but I think what you're saying here is really, really important, because I'm a woman of faith. You're a woman of faith. A lot of the people that watch Warrior Wednesdays are people of faith. And I think sometimes we don't say out loud the times where our faith is so tested to the point that we feel, am I being cursed?
Right.
Because it's a real question when God deposits this joy, right? And you're in your 20s going through this. I want y'all to hear that. You're in your 20s. So you're also maturing into your womanhood, maturing into being a wife, you know, just coming from the loss and having an angel baby. And now another, you know, loss has occurred. Asking that question, that's real, y'all. That's real to have that duality. So I love the fact that you brought that, into it, because sometimes we feel the need to always be positive. But there's days where we're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
This isn't how it should be. What did I do? And then you felt that brokenness, correct?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I just began to, you know, wonder, like, is this supposed to be? Like, you know, is this what we're supposed to have? And I wanted nothing more than to give my husband a legacy. It is something that we talked about while we were dating. We talked about legacy and, you know, wanting to leave something in the earth greater than just our, you know, our separate works of, you know, him being a gospel artist, you know, his music can live on. And, you know, at the time I was going back to school to get my degree, and I'm like, you know, I want to do this and this and this. And that's great. But I knew I wanted a physical manifestation of God's promise to me in the earth. It just didn't feel like it was going to happen. So we kept on living. We started enjoying one another. We decided to travel and, you know, went back to school, and we just threw ourselves, you know, in ministry. One other piece I didn't get to, I don't think I shared, or you may have seen it on my profile, but my husband and I also were ministers of the gospel. So, you know, I'm serving my pastor, and he is, you know, a minister of music. He's playing, you know, the keyboard and the organ. He sings, he writes, he has his own gospel. So we were busy, like busy. And that busyness was great to a point, because it kept us from having an idle mind, but it also kept us from grieving properly.
Woo, stop right there. That's super important, y'all. If you didn't hear anything else up until this point, distractions were great, but it stopped you from grieving properly. Because the reality is, we have to allow ourselves to feel all the feelings, to ask all the questions, to go through the process. So, because, you know, we talk a lot about physical health here and women's health here, but women's health includes mental health. Men's health includes mental health. We actually, you guys, just a sidebar note, we have Dr. Lori Johnson coming on, who is an infertility therapist, all mental health, because of what you just said, that
The distraction didn't give you a chance to grieve properly. Now that you're on the other side of that, you can say that. So what advice would you give to someone that may find themselves in a similar situation, or maybe it's happened and they may not really understand that part of it yet?
What I would say, whether you're experiencing infertility or loss, or a combination of the two, which we have experienced and I'll talk about next, I would say to you to feel everything that you are feeling, and feel it as deep as you can feel it. In it, roll in it, roll in those tears, cry in it, scream it out. Do not stifle your process. Sometimes you can stifle a victory by anticipating failure.
You need to repeat it. Just repeat what you just said.
You can stifle a victory. You can stifle, your victory of coming through on the other side. You can stifle it by anticipating that you're going to fail.
You can stifle victory by anticipating failure, which is what anxiety is, y'all. That's basically what it comes down to. Is that, and where that is that it feels like our faith is decreasing because we are now listening to our fears. We are now projecting something that we're concluding in our head. Even if God didn't tell you that thing, you have already made a conclusion. And so you can stifle victory. Woo! That was a heavy word. Okay, so let's go.
So I decided to, my advice to them was roll in it, feel it, and get counseling. Please, please, please don't think that, and I'm an advocate of Christian counseling, but sometimes you need, we have great leaders, like my pastor is actually trained in psychology, and it may be great to have someone that but sometimes it's better to get an outside voice so that you can say things without feeling like you're going to be judged, because we'll think we're going to be judged and then we try to sweeten it up or dodge it. Sometimes you need a completely unbiased, unknown voice to speak to. Definitely do counseling, and do not, please do not try to conceive your way out of grief. It doesn't work. It does not work.
Oh, do not try to conceive your way out of grief. Now, what's interesting about you saying that, and what you had said earlier, is that, sometimes people would say to you, oh, well, you're young, you can have another baby, and that you didn't know then how that's not really a helpful form of communication. You didn't know then what you know now, because the reality is, you guys, sometimes our most well-meaning people that love us, people that are in our family, people that are really, really supporting us, can sometimes say things without really understanding the consequences of that quote unquote advice, because the people that loved you just didn't want you to have the pain. So that was their way of trying to remove the pain, was to get you thinking towards the future. But what you're saying now is you got to feel it. You can't conceive your way out of grief. And so you guys have to understand who you allow to speak into your life, your fertility, your journey, and be mindful of the language that you need to hear. So we understand the well-meaningness of it. But now that you're on the other side, that's why you can say something like, don't try to conceive your way out of grief. You've got to feel it.
Yeah.
You and your husband.
Replace life. You can't replace life.
Nope.
I love Rain Victoria with everything that I've got, but she will never replace Selah. She will never replace the next baby, which we named Cadence, and she will never replace her twin brothers, who we've not talked about yet.
Okay, so let's go there.
Okay. So 2.5 years after that last loss, we were still, you know, living our best life, just doing us, traveling. We moved, and, you know, it just felt like we were just in a really good, solid place. I didn't want to jinx it at the time by saying we're in a good place to have a baby per se, but I felt like where we were mentally, emotionally, in our maturity, in our marriage, it felt right. Mm-hmm. And so about 6-7 weeks before that Father's Day, I knew I felt off, and it was a very familiar off. I don't really remember. I know I was obviously like sick to my stomach, sick, but there were other like weird things happening, and I was just like, oh God, I'm not pregnant. And this time it wasn't like a yay, it was like a, oh God, kind of,
right,
you know, kind of feeling. And I was like, here we go. So and I regret this to this day, me trying to protect my husband and protect those around us, I tested on my own. And, you know, found out that I was pregnant. I went to my doctor. I got scanned, and there was quite a surprise awaiting me. More than one.
More than one. More than one.
There was more than one heartbeat, and I like to have rolled off of the table.
Ooh.
So,
and why do you say that you were? Why do you say you were protecting your husband? Was that the fear? Was that the anticipation of failure, or what? Mm-hmm. What was that? Mm-hmm.
Yep. Telling you what I can't tell you nothing I haven't lived.
Right. Amen.
Exactly what I did. I felt like, no, I'm not comfortable. But I started, and I mean, I planned, like, I was going to hold it. Hold it, like, out of third trimester. And I don't know why I thought I could, because me and my husband are just way too close. And he knew I was acting weird. He knew something. Once I told him, he knew something was up. Mm-hmm. But I was, like, turning the shower on at random so I could muffle the sound of me throwing up. Like, dumb stuff. I called myself trying to protect him. So, nonetheless.
What's interesting about that, though, because PTSD does exist, and you had, you know, lost that way, is trauma.
Yeah.
It's trauma. And what I hear in that with the PTSD and also with the protecting of your husband is a mother, is a nurturer. Mm-hmm. So here you are pregnant, the thing that it should, you know, be shared with your partner, and oh my God, this is happening. But the nurturer in you that's still dealing with the trauma of loss, you know, the nurturer is actually being a mom in that moment of protecting somebody that you really, really loved, just in case, because we've been through this before, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you've been a mama a long time. You've been a mama before Selah. You've been a mama. So then here we are with 2 babies. And like you said, you almost rolled off the bed. You almost rolled off the foot. Okay. So you're covering up, throwing up, you're turning on the shower. You are not ready to share the news.
Yeah.
So then what happens?
I caught myself trying to reconcile that into a surprise. So then I'm like, okay, well, Father's Day is coming, so I'm going to surprise him on Father's Day. Mother's Day and Father's Day were obviously very sensitive days for us.
Yeah.
Having, you know, been through what we went through. So I was like, okay, I want to make this one great. So I decided that's the day I'm going to share it. And shared it. He was ecstatic. Everything was, you know, seemingly great. And then about 2 weeks after that, in a scan, we found out that there was a issue with the placenta. So one baby was getting far more blood and thus nutrients than the other. There was an obvious size difference. And every time we would go for a scan, the concern kept increasing. So during one appointment, I just thought it was a regular appointment. They brought in a maternal fetal medicine doctor. And, you know, they's like, you know, we look through your scans and, you know, we want to do one more like 3D scan. I want to see something. And I'll sum all of that up. But basically, our twins were diagnosed with a condition called twin-to-twin transfusion. So it's where one is getting far more blood and more nutrients, which sometimes can be okay and result in one healthy baby, one baby that's smaller or slightly sick, or it can be a bit more extreme where you have one baby who is literally getting way too much. You know, their heart is enlarged. They're going into, essentially congestive heart failure, and the other is essentially like starved, malnourished. And that's exactly what happened. So unfortunately at 22 weeks, you know, we lost both of our boys. And that was like what we thought at the time, nail in the coffin. We were done.
And I don't blame you. You guys put the flowers up. I have to say that when you haven't experienced something, I've never been pregnant. And I always question what I'm strong enough to handle. And when I hear the story of you, your angel babies, your husband, I know that God doesn't give you anything that you can't handle. And the fact that you can sit here and openly talk about this, and that your husband can be flirting with you while you're openly talking about loss of children, y'all are truly anointed. You're truly anointed. One of the things you guys don't know is that last night when I talked to Ebony and I said, is there anything you don't want to talk about? One of the things she said is, you know, no, I'm an open book. A lot happened and I didn't have the answers, and I had to look for the answers. So now it's my turn to be the answer. That's who this woman is. And you are really being the answer, because you are a demonstration of faith beyond fear, faith beyond loss. So we are sending up flowers. If you can see them, I hope you can. There's a bunch of flowers. And again, I am sorry for the loss of your twin boys, to you and your husband.
Oh,
so we have 4 baby angels.
Yeah.
4 baby angels. Yeah.
We were, you know, waking up, looking at the walls.
Yeah.
Literally. Just rolling out of bed, just staring at the walls. Just nothing. Like, no. I don't think I've ever felt that blank, or that, like, I think at that point, this is probably going to sting, but I felt useless. That's how I felt. I felt useless. I felt like my one, the thing that we wanted, I clearly can't give. And then I tried to protect him, and that doesn't work. What am I doing? And I just started rethinking everything. And our marriage, one thing I am grateful for is that things like infertility can have the ability to strengthen or strain relationships.
Speak on it.
What I can say is that for us, tragedy, adversity, we're built for it. We say all the time we're built for it tough. Like it almost feels like our marriage has been it's almost like an answer to those who don't think, you know, I can't take but so much more. Our marriage is kind of that. Oh yeah, you can.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can. With the grace and the help of God, yes, you absolutely can. But it's also a testament to, you know, like we were growing up. If anyone's ever grown up in the church, or maybe they said it outside the church, but you don't question God. You don't question God. Lies. I question God every day.
Say that. Say
You're not
that.
gonna tell me to have a relationship with God and I can't question Him.
Thank you.
Where that happen at? Who you have a relationship with that you can't communicate with? So I'm like, if you're my father, you're my savior, I'm looking to you for the strength. I got some questions. And you can answer them or not, but I'm gonna give you my questions. I'm gonna tell you what I'm feeling. And there were days where I know my neighbors probably thought I was cool because I was in there like, now why would I mean I'm from Baltimore. Why would you? I mean, go
looking at the sky like, how could you?
You know, like, why would you let them? And you know what I love about God is that He can handle it. He can handle my brokenness. He can handle my questions. He can handle all of it. But one thing I never ever lost in all of that was the sight that even if He doesn't do it, He's well able to do it. Well, His ability was never in question. It was my ability, our ability to maintain in the storm. But could He do it? Could He bring us out? It was never a question. Never. I never doubted it. I wondered why, you know, we were, you know, thrown into the situation or why my body did what it did. But I never questioned His ability. I knew it. Now, did I think we were going to have a child? Adoption maybe at that point, but I was like, no, he's able. Even if He doesn't do it, He's able. I trust Him. I trust Him. And I trusted Him right on to keep minding my business. After that, I was just like, you know what, God, I'm not going to get in between you and your plans to expand our family. However you do it, I'm just going to leave that to you. I'm out of it.
And that's when you give it to Him. But part of what you just said about questioning God, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, that is part of the grief. When you talk about you can't conceive your way out of the grief, all of these things, the tears, the prayers, the questioning, the getting upset, getting angry, because I get pissed at the Lord a lot, y'all. I'm not even going to front. But if I don't tell Him, first of all, He knows how I feel. He's not surprised by me. He created this attitude problem that I got. So He knows exactly what I'm coming with. But what's so beautiful about what you're saying is that you knew He was able, even if you didn't know if you were. You knew who your Father was. You knew what He's capable of. And so that mustard seed faith, y'all, as you go through that journey of grief, questions, tears, all those things, you still had the knowingness. Because I think that's different than believing. The knowingness, you know, because to believe is how to talk yourself into it all the time. When you know something, it's inside. It's internal. And you know that no matter what is going on, I know you can do it. I just don't know if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And so here you guys are. We have 4 angel babies. We have grieved. And I don't know if I'm in the right timeline now, but something happened at church on October the 1st.
Yep. You're right on time.
I'm right on time. So let's go to October the 1st. Y'all listen up.
Okay. So that was, the loss and everything was October 2016. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry. It was 2016. Let me fast forward to October the 1st. No. I'm sorry. I'm getting my timelines wrong. Ryan was born in 2018. So 2015. That was in 2015.
Okay.
2017. This is 2 years of us minding our business.
2 years of minding your business, living your life. Okay.
Let God do what He does. And, you know, we moved. We felt like, you know, again, great place. We're in a good place. It was almost scary because I was like, this feels familiar. Everything starts falling in line. And, you know, I finished school, got my degree. My husband, you know, really started in on his music. Everything just felt amazing. And I was just like, okay, this is what peace feels like. Like, this is, I haven't felt this before. It was just like a great piece of going to bed. Like, I've always been a horrible insomniac, but it's not that I can't sleep. It's that my mind doesn't know how to shut off.
Right.
And, you know, I was getting some of the best sleep I had ever had. It was just a great place. And we went to church. It happened to be the day that we were moving into our condo, which we were so excited about. And I went to church, and my bishop, shout out to Bishop Donald Wright. I had a few of my church members on here.
Hi, church members.
Shout out to Bishop Donald Anthony Wright at the gathering in Forestville. Hey guys. So we're in church and it's a communion Sunday. We're through with the service. We're at the end and he's on the other side of the church. He gave an altar call and his sermon was about miracles and, you know, being the one that God can like trust to facilitate miracles and how we're his hands and, you know, feet in the earth and all of that. And I normally don't like I didn't normally go to the altar at all. But this particular day, I just went. It was like an altar call at the end of church. And I was just like, I remember being really candid. And I was just like, God, now, I don't mind being a conduit for miracles. I don't mind, you know, being the vehicle that you use. Because as my bishop says, even a pipe gets wet. So, you know, if the water's passing through, you're going to get some of what's, you know, flowing through you. And I'm like, I'm cool with that. But I've prayed like all of my friends through all of these losses. I had a group of friends, couples. They were all couples who were having issues conceiving as well.
Okay.
Multiple losses or either just not getting pregnant. And at this point, they were all on like baby number 2 or 3. My husband and I were the only one in the group who were still.
So even though you have support, you're feeling some kind of way. Because when we see people around us getting the thing, we're like, what you leaving us out for? Right?
I'm playing it into everybody else's life. I'm everybody's godmama. I've got 5 god babies at that point. I'm like, I'm taking care of, you know, everybody else's kids. Like I'm giving of myself, but I'm tired of dodging the baby section in the store. Woo! I'm tired of lying about why I can't come to the baby shower. I'm tired. Like, what's happening? And I was just like, I'll keep going. I'll keep doing what you tell me to do, but I'm tired. And I remember just being that candid. And I went on back to my seat and minding my business. So moments after, my bishop's on the other side of the church, and he turns and he's like, Ebony, I don't know what they missed when they did, you know, scan or whatever they do for you, but there's a blockage somewhere. And he's like, there's a blockage somewhere, but by this time next year, you're going to have a baby. And his birthday had just passed. And he said, by my next birthday, you are going to have a baby. And I'm looking at my husband. I'm like tapping my husband on his lap, like, are you hearing us? And I'm just like, you know what? I've heard a million of these prophecies and things people have spoken to me before, well-meaning. I'm not saying that they weren't right, but I'm like, it felt like a little bit of opportunism going on. And I'm like, here's this man. He doesn't know my story. At that point, we were new to the church. He didn't know our story. He didn't know anything about it. And I'm like, I'm listening to this man. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to believe. I have nothing to lose. Nothing.
I hope y'all hear that. So here's Ebony with 4 angel babies and her husband. And you said, I'm just going to believe. I have nothing to lose. Because here's the thing. Just going to believe, y'all, is a decision.
Yeah.
It is a decision to decide that I'm going to believe what God is speaking through my bishop. I'm going to believe what God is speaking through Ebony right now on the live. I choose to believe, because we can choose not to.
Yeah.
We can choose not to, and that's a different path. But in this moment, even with all that you went through, you chose to believe.
And I said, you know what? Okay, by this time next year. And I went on about my day, went on about my business. We moved, we got in. And the interesting thing about making a declaration is that sometimes either your mind or your heart might not catch up to what your spirit is trying to receive. And although my spirit received, okay, I'm just going to believe, my heart was like, girl, you in danger, girl. We've been here before. Don't do it.
This is such good soul food, what you're saying right now, because y'all say that. So what she said is sometimes your heart or your mind hasn't caught up to what your spirit believes. I hope y'all write it down and you are dropping gems, ma'am, like gems, because we can feel something in our spirit and talk ourselves right on out of it. We can feel something in our spirit and, like you said, be too anxious to receive. We can stifle the victory. And so our heart and our minds and our spirit all have to be in alignment. All have to say the same yes. Yeah. But I hope you guys hear that, because your spirit can feel something that your heart and your mind are not ready to receive. And so there is a time for everything in this life. There's a journey for everything. So you guys go through that, but your spirit was on board. Y'all chose to believe.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna get with it. This flesh will catch up at some point, but I all right, whatever. I don't even think it was 5 days later, I started feeling some stuff again, and my little spidey senses was going off, and I was like, doggone it, I can't be pregnant this quick. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
This is 5 days after the bishop says by this time next year. Y'all hear that? 5 days, you start to feel a little way.
Ain't no way. And to not be too blunt, I'll just put it like this. We weren't contributing to the word in that 5 day period. Okay.
Okay. We get that. We weren't contributing to the word.
We weren't contributing to the word.
So any contribution was made before the word.
Right.
Y'all hear that? Y'all follow? Okay.
So I'm like, first of all, it's too soon in my mind from last contribution to now to even be feeling any kind of, this shouldn't be happening for like a few weeks. So something else is up. And I just shrugged it off. I kept blaming different things on, I have an autoimmune disease called lupus. And I was blaming everything on lupus. So it was, oh no, this is that. I was feeling different things. And I remember we were going to a haunted house. I don't do those. But I agreed this time to go with my husband. My husband is in this comments.
I see him. He is. No contributions made to the word in that 5 day period. Just so y'all know, Ryan is letting us know. He's co-signing. No contributions were made to the word in that 5 day period. Got it.
So we're getting ready to go into this haunted house place, but I'm going to tie my shoes, and I noticed I am winded. I can't put down and tie my shoes, and I'm like, since when? I'm not a skinny chick, but I could tie my shoes. What's going on? Why am I so winded? Why am I so tired? Why am I so dizzy? Just ignored it, and my husband kind of gave me this look like, And he actually started saying it like, Every time I said something, I'm like, man, I'm tired. Or, I've been blessed to stay home. My husband works. He's been a blessing to allow me to just stay home even before Rain was born. So there would be days where he would call me during the day where normally I would be up doing something. He couldn't reach me. I was knocked out. I was sleeping all day, and he would just come home and be like, And he just kept doing it. So I was like, what is it? And he was like, you're pregnant. And I was like, no, because that don't make sense. And I'm in my phone going through the calendar, and he's like, yeah, whatever, you're pregnant. I was like, whatever. So a week more of symptoms go on, and we are at October 17th at this point. So it's been 3 weeks. And our wedding anniversary is the 20th. We're making plans. It's our 5th wedding anniversary. So we're making plans. And I remember a few days earlier, I was up online. I was looking at different adoption lawyer. Again, our spirit can receive the word, but we in our minds will try to circumvent or try to make it happen on our own. So I'm looking at adoption lawyers, and I found one that did free consults, and I signed this up. I got all this information in my email, and I was going to talk to him on our anniversary night to try to go that next day to go in just to get the information, just to see, what's what and what we need and all of that. And I began to experience severe abdominal pains. I've never felt this kind of pain in my life. We were driving, and every little bump in the road was painful. And I kept saying to him something is wrong. So that was a Sunday. He was like, Ebony, take the test. I was like, no, you got to take it early in the morning anyway. He's like, okay, well, take it first thing tomorrow morning. So the next
Ryan
day
knew.
comes, yeah. Take it the next day. And I'm, I reach into my little stash that I've not touched in years of tests. If you've ever tried to conceive, you got the ovulation test and I had the whole shebang. So I finally reached in the back and I got a test and I was like, all right. And then I still tried to circumvent. So I was like, well, let me get an ovulation test too. Maybe I should be ovulating.
So the pregnancy test came back positive, right?
Well, the ovulation test came back positive first.
Okay, the ovulation was positive. Okay.
I was like, oh, okay, I'm ovulating. Cool. I almost didn't dip the pregnancy test. This is how this works. Your mind will psych you out. Dipped it. It's positive. So I call him, and we're like screaming and celebrating.
And there was a baby on board.
And then I was like, but why am I in pain?
Mm-hmm.
So what I should have been celebrating, I was in my mind again. Oh God, but I'm in pain. Oh, it's ectopic. Oh God, this pregnancy isn't right. Something's wrong. Went to the hospital. I was fine. Figured out what the pain was.
Thank God.
And from that moment on, the pregnancy was completely uneventful. We kept, going back and forth. Early on, I was just big on, I feel like I'm having a girl. I went out and bought girl clothes and I put it where I could see it as a statement of faith. Every time I tried to doubt, so I could see that onesie and be like, no, girl, this baby is coming.
We say this on Warrior Wednesdays all the time, so I'm so glad that you said that. We've had Michelle Polston from Her Normal talking about her pink baby blanket that she has in the closet for faith, getting something tangible for faith. I showed this last Wednesday, you guys, my little crystal egg with my mustard seed of faith. So here you are. So you have another baby and you knew in your spirit it was a girl, getting these testaments of faith. If you guys don't have something like this to keep you going, I can tell you in my experience, it is something that I look at every day to remind me that God is real, that he is real. So you're getting baby clothes. The pregnancy so far is uneventful, right? And then just in the interest of time, because I don't want Instagram to cut us off or anything, but this is all beautiful. But so we go to Ryan, who is literally giving everybody their life in the comment section. Ryan, I'm going to do a whole, the men of infertility, and I'm going to have you on here with your jokes because I think you're fabulous and I love it. And I would love to hear your male perspective of partnership in this, right? Because it is a real thing. But take us to the moment when Ryan is going to the Stellar Awards, right? For gospel music. If you guys don't know the Stellar Awards, and they're in Las Vegas, you're pregnant, and then you get permission from, it wasn't your doctor, it was another doctor, it was an associate because your doctor was unavailable, right? Tell us about that. So you're going to go with him to the Stellar Awards in Vegas. And how many months pregnant were you?
I was 6 months pregnant.
Okay.
6 months pregnant. I was 26 weeks pregnant, so technically 6.5. And everything was uneventful. I had a little bit of swelling in my ankles, but the doctor kind of ignored that. He didn't send me to get the normal test that I normally got, which in retrospect, had I gotten those tests, I probably would have known I couldn't go to Las Vegas. So that ties me out. If we have time, I'll get back into why it's really important for us to advocate for ourselves as Black women.
Amen. Yes. Yes.
So I go to Las Vegas. The first day, everything's great. Second day, hands are swelling, feet are swelling, still slight. Third day, I am dizzy. I am winded. I can't take more than 10 steps without having to stop. And it just progressively got worse. I sent the note to my doctor. In my mind, I thought maybe I got like a blood clot on the flight or something. So I'm like, messaging her, telling her what's going on. And she's like, look, I'm here. When you get back, which needs to be soon, I'm here. We fly back home. I get to the labor and delivery first. And they're like, well, you're not like in labor. So you need to go downstairs to the emergency room. I go down and my blood pressure is stroke level. In the interest of numbers, my top number, my systolic, was 262. Okay.
Girl.
Help put that in perspective. And my bottom number was in the 150s.
So you literally could have had a stroke.
Yeah. They called a brain attack for me. So that's how the whole team came out, ran out, took me into the back, and took me into this like trauma bay-ish area. And they began to like, you know, try to get blood and different things. They did chest x-rays, all of this stuff. And within like maybe an hour or so, maybe a little less than an hour, they were like, oh, you know, we're pretty sure you have preeclampsia. So we're going to treat you for that. And then the doctor comes in. He's like, well, you know, I think I can keep you pregnant until 32 weeks. So you're going to stay here in the hospital. You're just going to stay on the floor and we'll keep you pregnant till then, you know, if we can. So I'm like, I'm not happy with this, but cool. So moments later, my husband's trying to tell the news to family. And before he can even do that, they come back in. And in short, my kidneys have failed. My liver had failed. My platelets were so severe to the point that I literally could have bled to death. These are all symptoms of something called HELP syndrome. Ladies, I wish I could explain it as we don't really have the time, but it is a very severe form of preeclampsia. So I had the hypertension, the failed liver, the enzymes were more than 7 times what they should have been. And they told me I had to have my baby that day. They take us upstairs. They're getting me ready. Emergency C-section. 26 weeks, y'all. I don't know what a 26-week baby looks like. And I'm like, God, what is happening here? The NICU doctor is trying to tell me all these things. Your baby can have brain bleed, cerebral palsy, blind, deaf. They can get infections, an infection called neck in their bowel. They can lose bowel and then need surgery. I mean, I'm hearing all this different stuff, and all I can think, I never had a question about rain. All I kept saying is, am I going to live to a baby? Because I felt that bad. I actually have a video that I've posted several times of my husband kind of joking with me. He's like, you know, well, I guess Miss Rain is coming today. And I'm like, oh, don't put the camera on me. I look terrible. And he's like, no, you don't. You look beautiful. And I'm like, oxygen mask on. I'm swollen face, like completely unrecognizable. And he's like telling me how beautiful I look. I think we were trying to like joke and like lighten through the moment.
Well, as you said earlier, in times of trauma, your marriage has always been strengthened. And he is Rain's father, he is your husband, and he did what he had to do to get you through that moment, no matter what fear or faith or whatever he could have been going through himself. He knew how to talk to his wife, to the mother of his children, and to get you through this moment. So y'all give some fists or something up for Ryan, who's still here, because he's still here talking you through these moments. And so that's beautiful. And I do want to get into the advocacy. So now the doctors, though, but so that we can get to one part of this and go to the other. So the doctors are telling you that all of these things could be going wrong, but that your kidneys are failing, your liver is failing, there's HELP syndrome. And now, instead of keeping you in the hospital to keep you pregnant for 32 weeks, Rain, that's the name of the baby, that's the little girl that we now have, Rain has to be born that day.
Yep. He says you'll be intubated and sedated because we don't think you'll survive the C-section unless you are intubated. I had fluid around my lungs and heart, fluid everywhere, y'all. Literally, in medical records, it talks about 50-some pounds of fluid being drained off of me via their various things, catheter and diuretics and the whole 9. But they didn't think I would be able to survive. I literally couldn't lean back. I couldn't breathe if I laid back. So they had me like sitting straight up in the bed. Like I felt horrible. And he's like, you're going to be intubated, sedated. And unfortunately, because of that, your husband's not going to be able to be in there. Which was like a stab. I think I cried more about that than the fact that I was having my baby. That was it. I'm like, got all of this loss, and now he can't see his living baby come into the world. But my husband took it like a trooper. The trooper that he was amazing. And they start wheeling me back, and I start, rehearsing like literally my whole life through my mind. When people said that, I thought it was dramatic, but it is accurate. When you're in a moment where your life is literally on the line, not this fake stuff we do, but like the real kind of like on the line, you literally go back and you start trying to think about all the things that you could have done different. And I'm in my head trying to like figure out, okay, do I have enough of my life insurance to make sure that, she can go to college and that he's not struggling? Like, I'm thinking, I'm not coming out of this. Like, he could be a widower and a single dad all in one day. And, they put me on the table, and I began to think about my daughter's name. There was a scripture that got us through infertility. It is 2 Timothy 2:12. And it basically, the A clause of it says, if you suffer with him, you'll reign with him. And that's where our daughter's name was basically derived from. Reign. And then we wanted her to have her dad's initials. She has our name Victoria, so it just fit. Little did I know that my daughter was literally going to like reign victoriously through this whole
if you suffer with him,
you'll reign with him. You'll reign with him.
And you suffered the loss of 4 angel babies with him. And so now would be the time that you are going to reign.
Yeah.
The name of your,
We are ready to reign. And reign is exactly what happened. My baby, they said she would be born breathing on her own. She wouldn't cry. And she was the exact opposite. I was awake for them doing an ultrasound, and they kind of like drew on my stomach for the C-section. And my daughter, in true rebel fashion, was not in the spot where they drew. So they ended up cutting me like this, but also cutting me like this. So I have a cross cut so that they could get her out gently without, tugging on her, because she was only 1 pound and 15 ounces at birth. 1 pound, 15 ounces, 15 and a half inches long. She was born screaming, breathing on her own, which they said she wouldn't. And it's their procedure to like intubate babies that are born that tiny. Here we go with this is how God gave me that whole, you can stifle a victory by anticipation of failure. They just thought my daughter's lungs were going to give out. So they were trying to force the tube in. They in turn caused a condition called bronchopulmonary dysplasia, which a lot of preemies get, but basically it's damage floppy to the airway. Had they not done that, my daughter may not have had that condition or had issues from that. But they just thought it was going to fail. So they went ahead and intubated her anyway. But over the next few days, she did go through lung collapses. Each lung collapsed separately. So she had chest tubes, very sedated through that. I went to the ICU, stayed sedated, intubated, basically in a medicated coma while they did, dialysis and different things to my liver, all of these different things to try to get me well. And when she was close to 2 days old, I was able to actually go meet her, and go see my baby in the NICU. And that moment was like none. I don't think I'll ever relive something that amazing.
I gotta just, before you tell us about that moment, I don't even think the word warrior is fair in describing you. It's not enough for you to have gone through everything prior to Rain's pregnancy, for you to really be aware that you might not live to meet your daughter at all. And then for her to come into this world and defy the odds. You guys, 1 pound and 15 ounces. And she came out screaming when they said she wouldn't be crying. If a little tiny 15-inch baby can fight for her own life, y'all can fight for yours.
Yeah.
And I need y'all to put up some rainbows for Rain. Because you as her mother and she as a little child who I haven't even met yet,
I am so inspired by the amount of strength. You know that you deposited that strength right into your daughter. Right into your daughter. And she came out letting you know it. So you guys give her a lot of rainbows for baby Rain, who is now 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were in the NICU for 80 days?
80 days. Mm-hmm.
Collapsed lungs. What else did Rain experience?
Collapsed lungs. She had 10 blood transfusions. She was severely anemic. 10 blood transfusions. She did have some sort of like ear infection thing that she had to get antibiotics for, but her NICU stay was, uneventful compared to some of her peers. It was fairly uneventful. We came home before her due date, 2.5 weeks before, which is pretty rare. They tell you to expect your due date, if not later. She defied those odds again. It got out of there, and she reigned.
She reigned. You named her well. Y'all knew what was up. Ryan is saying, built, Ford, tough, and she knows it. She reigned. I love this. I love this. Now, as Rain is reigning, can you tell us the point you wanted to make about advocating for yourself?
So, had the symptoms that I brought up, were they not ignored, my preeclampsia could have been caught before it exploded into an even greater issue. But because I was told, oh, you're going to be fine, oh, it's fine, and then to show up at labor and delivery, be made to wait. And I don't want to make this too race-based, but it is known that Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die of pregnancy-related complications. It's not because we're predisposed to all of these negative, issues and things of the like. It's because there's some inherent biases.
So we are going to go ahead and make it race-based. I appreciate.
Okay, I wanted to tread light.
No, chill. I appreciate your tread light, but we're going to keep it all the way real. Yeah. If y'all don't know, J. Marion Sims, who is deemed the father of gynecology, a white man, earned that title, and I put that in air quotes, because he performed procedures on enslaved African women without anesthesia, and used us as examples and demonstrations to find medical cures and operations without anesthesia, enslaved African women. That is the history of health, but not care, for Black women in the United States of America. Yeah. There is an internal bias that lives in our country, as we all saw on January the 6th, and we all knew before January the 6th. And it does exist very heavily in our healthcare system. Black women are 3 times, I believe, more likely to die from maternal in delivery, as well as infant mortality rate. So a Black child is also more likely. And yes, not all doctors have an internal bias. I am not saying that. What I am saying is it exists. And sometimes, just like when Michelle was on here, somebody came, she went to a fertility clinic to get her ovarian reserve checked out, and people will tell her, you don't need to be here. Those biases exist. Y'all have to advocate for yourself. Bring a friend with you to advocate for you. Mm-hmm. And as we continue to work within the system and have more Black doctors and more Black specialists that are speaking out, because I want to be clear about one other thing. It is not just happening, the internal bias on the patient level. Mm-hmm. Also, people that are studying medicine, people of color studying medicine, that the bias is within the community of medical caregivers not allowing certain people of color
to get to the next level or into this specialized group or into this thing. So understand that it is not just about the people that go into the doctor's office. The bias is happening across all sectors.
Yes, ma'am.
So clear and know this. And the reason why Ebony is bringing it up is because if you just take a doctor's words and for what they are, you might not be getting all of the information or the care or the attention that you deserve. And because if you don't know the bias, you won't know how to speak up for yourself and find a second opinion, a third opinion. And this is why we do Warrior Wednesdays, to let you know you're not alone. Speak up.
Yeah.
Share these stories. If something ain't right, don't stop until it's right.
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
stop until it's right. So what you are saying is you believe, and I believe, that had some of the symptoms of your preeclampsia been taken seriously, as they should have been, and we don't know the reason why, but we know the reasons it could be, that you may not have been brought to this emergency situation.
Right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then, I mean, to face it again on the day of, when I go to, labor and delivery, the nurse is kind of just like, okay, well, what's going on? And I tell her what's going on. She has the blood pressure cuff in her hand, but it never made it to my arm because she was too busy questioning me about the symptoms that I was experiencing. So then she's like, oh, well, I'm sure you're fine. I'll call someone. Do you think you can walk down there? And I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm seeing gray. You see how swollen I am? I'm telling you I can't breathe. And you're asking me, can I walk down go down 2 floors and walk to the emergency room? No, I cannot. I need a wheelchair. I waited 10 minutes for that wheelchair. Had that blood pressure cuff actually made it on my arm, she would have known how serious it was. But let me tell you how God works. She ended up being the same nurse who had to come down and put a monitor on my baby in the emergency room. They had to come down and put me on a monitor before they could take me into labor and delivery. She was the same nurse that had to come down and do that. And her remarks to me in the lobby, or as the elevators we were going up, was, I'm so glad you came in.
And you from Baltimore and I'm from Philly. We could have been in jail behind her.
Girl, I'll just put it like this, just to clear. I didn't want to get too deep because I wanted to be respectful. It's not my platform. But since you kicked the door down, here we go. This is the statistic within Black people alone, okay?
Give it to us.
Black women who are born within the United States are 10 times more likely than women who immigrate here to have pregnancy-related complications. But the playing field levels when those immigrants have been here for 10 years. What does that tell you? The problem isn't the skin. The problem is the land.
I didn't even know that statistic, but you just schooled me on that one.
I'm just saying. If you don't believe me, go check it out.
I believe you 100%. 100. Yeah. This is what we have to say. That's why I said, we gonna talk about it. This is what we're here to do. We're gonna talk. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
that is how I got into my work. Well, I was already a part of March of Dimes, kind of whatever, but there's a campaign that they had called It's Not Fine. And it's kind of how I became the face of the maternal health portion of that, the African American face.
I don't hear Ebony. Do you guys hear her? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you. Mama Stu is saying, my Mama Stu is saying, yes, speak out. Your husband's saying, school us here. And so, yes.
Okay, I'm good. Yes. Glad you guys can hear me.
Yes.
But yeah, we're not believed when we say that we're in pain or that something's wrong.
We're not believed. Yep.
Had that been caught, this just would have been a very different story. My daughter could have been born full term. She would not in turn be dealing with the different issues that she's dealing with. And even in this, I've had to really stand up and advocate for her.
Yes.
Because there are different things that they've tried to do that just aren't right. My daughter has a condition called pulmonary fibromatosis. Basically, it's like having uterine fibroids in your lung. Okay. Those same fibrous tumors That's what that is. She has them on the outside of the lung as well as inside. So it can obstruct some airways. Any kind of bug, cold, anything. We were trying to figure out why she would go downhill so quickly. And it was worse than just normal, like preemie stuff. Like she'd be playing 1 second and the next minute she's blue. And we couldn't figure out what was going on. So we found that condition, and they were trying to do a surgery on her to remove all of the tumors. But in doing that, she could have been left with less than 40% of her lung tissue, which would have put us in a position to need a lung transplant. You see how the healthcare system will set you up to continue to need them and to take your money? So this mama sat up for a week and read medical journals and found out that there are cases where people have done radiation and completely absolved the tumors. So I went to my insurance company, first her doctor, and said, hey, do you think she's a candidate for this? He read through it, said, yes, but your insurance company's not going to like it. I was like, let me handle that. Went to the insurance company, and I know how to speak the jargon because I used to work there. I fought tooth and nail.
Come on, mama.
And they said, you know what, you can have it, but you're going to have to pay thousands of dollars up front before we pay for it. No problem. I got my village together. My village got that money together in about 3 weeks, and my daughter started her radiation. We don't accept no. No, I don't know what no means when it comes to my daughter. Absolutely not. She's going to get the care that she deserves. And because of that fight, my daughter is still doing well. Although we had to stop radiation because of COVID, because of the pandemic, they just thought it was a little too risky with her immune system. But her tumors have not grown because we did that. Whereas her tumors were doubling in size like every month, her tumors have not grown. It'll be a year in March since we've done radiation.
I got to tell you something. So girl, I can't even read it, but it says, let me handle that. They're saying that's it. What's no, amen. Nothing to a preemie mama. Listen,
That's it.
When you said this mother did all the research and found all the things, and don't worry about the money, we gonna figure it out. When I tell y'all, that is what advocacy looks like. This is also what a warrior looks like. This is what a Black woman, a Black mother looks like. That's when your spirit heard something and your mind and your heart knew immediately how to take charge of your daughter's life and her care, and to advocate for the right treatment.
Yeah.
I gotta give it to you. Y'all, I hope that you hear Ebony's story and know, because see, faith without works is dead. It's dead. So we are in a position in this country where we have to do that self-advocacy. And as we continue to try to change things and get infertility stuff legislated in insurance, and we fight these good fights, you have to hear Ebony's words in your ear should you or somebody you know ever be in any kind of situation where they are looked over, where the wheelchair takes 10 minutes, where we might need to do a lung transplant. This mom said, there's got to be a way. And you found the way. And so I thank you for that. And I also want you, we're going to wrap it up in a minute, you guys, but I do want you, Ebony, to tell us about March of Dimes, and to tell us about the fundraiser that you're doing now, you and your husband, the Ford family, and the first Black family in certain states. You'll tell us about it, but I was humbled and honored to be able to donate to your cause and your walk, and to make sure that this story gets out and that more people's lives are changed for the better because of your transparency. So tell us about the March of Dimes and the fundraiser you guys are doing.
So While sitting in the NICU, I knew March of Dimes was an organization that dealt with prematurity, but I didn't know like in its fullness. So I began to just do some research, and I just kind of back pocketed it. I used some of the resources while I was there. But when I got home, a couple of months after, I'm like, I just need to like give back somehow. I want to figure out how to become involved in my area. So I reached out, just said, hey, hi, this is what I want to do. And there's a mom here on Instagram. Her name is Beauty is Carrie. I'm sure she's probably watching. And I noticed on her profile that says she was a March of Dimes ambassador. So I asked someone, like, what's an ambassador? What do they do? And I found out that in our area, that program had actually been discontinued for some years. However, they were looking to restart it. So they basically used me and my story to restart that. It was through my story. They reached out to the Preeclampsia Foundation, who in turn, when they found out that March of Dimes was doing an It's Not Fine campaign, reached out and said, we think her story is perfect for your commercial, for your print ads. So that's how Rain and I became involved in the commercials and the print ads that you guys see everywhere. So that was a great blessing. But I never imagined that, us just staying involved and asking what we can do and how we can contribute would lead to us not only becoming ambassadors and talking to corporate sponsors, but to also be chosen to be the first Black family. This is huge, y'all. First Black family to be ambassadors for the March for Babies, which is the walk that March of Dimes does every year. We are the first Black ambassadors in this area. So we are representing Maryland, DC, Virginia, Delaware, and West Virginia. We are the face of all of those families. We represent all of those families. We'll be serving all of those families. And we are the first African-American family to hold that position. So very excited.
And where can people, first of all, congratulations to you, to Ryan, to Rain, to the angel babies that are watching over. And I know that can we go onto your Instagram page and find a link? So if you guys would like to get involved with this first Black family that's representing this in the March of Dimes walk, you need to go to And She Shall Reign, right? And She Shall Reign, REIGN. And go to her page and look at the link there so that you guys can get involved. Even $1, $5, just do whatever you can to give this family, because you guys are serving so many people and have been through so much, and you really are a walking testimony. And I am so grateful to know you. I'm so grateful to hear your story, to meet your husband in the comments, and to feel the strength of Rain herself and what you guys have done. And what would be some of your parting words to moms or dads or anybody that's on the journey to parenthood or is faced with a challenge? Is there anything, because I love the fact that you said you want to be the answer, and that speaking out like this, because you guys, Warrior Wednesday, she's a guest on Warrior Today, but she's out here in these women's health in these preemie streets, like constantly talking, constantly contributing to the community. But what is something that you would leave us with from your experience to now?
Whether you are dealing with infertility, you've experienced pregnancy or infant loss, or even if you are, a parent who has never dealt with anything like that, whether you've had a preemie, no matter where you find yourself, if you don't remember anything I said today, I want you to remember to not stifle your victory with anticipation of failure. Whether that means winning in your infertility journey and having the baby or babies that you've always desired, whether it's getting your degree, whether it's fighting for, equal health care, whatever it is, just know that if it doesn't work the first time, you can fight again, but there's no hope when you give up. So don't stifle your victory because you think it's gonna fail. And when you do that, when you stand up, when you keep fighting, even if you don't win, you still become the answer that you didn't have.
Ooh.
So dedicate your life to being the answer that you didn't have. That's a legacy within itself.
I don't need to say anything else. Dedicate your life to being the answer that you didn't have. I'm going to take that in. I needed that and didn't know I needed that. You have dropped enormous gems into this live today. And I just want to humbly and willfully thank you for being a light, for being a testimony. You have preached to us. The things that you have said, no, it's the truth. They change lives. They change. One sentence, one story can shift somebody's perspective. And the Course of Miracles says that a miracle is a change in perspective. And for you to be able to deposit in us, after all you've seen and all you've been through, such power that way, you do change lives today and every day. So you guys put a bunch of flowers up for Ebony and rainbows up for Rain and fists up for Ryan. We thank you for joining Warrior Wednesdays. As I told you on the phone, you and I, sis, we are not done. I don't know what it's going to be, but we're going to get together and stay in these streets for Black women and advocacy and doing all of the work that we do. So I will be calling on you. Please call on me. The answer is already yes. Everybody is saying, what a warrior. They're throwing flowers. We love you. I love her too, y'all. You have blessed this. You guys, I'm going to post it. Then you can share it. Somebody needs to hear this. This changes lives. Ebony, you are a gift. You are a gift.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I was so humbled by just the connection, period. But to be able to share on your platform, I don't take it lightly. People put their blood, sweat, and tears into their platform. So for you to share that and to trust me to speak to your audience says a lot. And you've never met me. So I am grateful. I'm humbled by it. And I thank you for letting me share not just my story, but also, my passion and even to, spotlight the campaign as well. So I'm really grateful. You are going to have to work really hard to get rid of me because I'm always going to be here. I wish Rain was up. She's tired. We ran out in these streets all day long until this interview. So sis is tired. Get ready to wake her up and get some dinner. But I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
I am so grateful. Oh, please. Thank you. I'm so grateful as well. There goes my AirPod. And like you said, and like I said, we're not done. So we have more work to do. So I'm going to let you go. Kiss Rain for us. Show her all these beautiful. And Ryan, if you haven't taken screenshots yet of all of this, make sure the baby sees all these rainbows that are being put up for her. And we will absolutely talk again soon. So thank you so much, family. Thank you guys. All right. Mwah. Till next time, okay? All right, baby doll. Oh, my goodness. That was Do Not Stifle Your Victory by Anticipating Failure. Ebony Ford, Ryan Ford, and Rain Ford, y'all are the truth. You guys, I want you to go to And She Shall Reign. That is the Instagram, and I want you to log on there, join that March of Dimes walk. I know that you were blessed with this live. I know that I was. I need you to share it with people so they understand what Ebony shared with us. She had 3 losses of 4 angel babies, almost lost her life delivering a baby that was 1 pound, 15 ounces. And that little 1 pound, 15 ounce life came kicking and screaming and defying odds and defying milestones every chance she got, which means that there is no challenge in front of you that you cannot defy and get through. So share Ebony's advice. I am so honored that she was here. I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you for being here. And I will see you next week. It is going to be our warrior doctor, Dr. Cindy M. Duke. She's going to be answering all your questions. So make sure you tell your friends, write your questions down, anything that you need to know about this.
Oh, that was all day Nico calling me. Anyway, it's time for me to go, and I will post this. I love you guys. I will see you next week. Okay, baby. Mwah. Bye, y'all.